Hey, what's up, fam? Look, this is our first weekly options forecast of the year, so bear with me. I'm going to go through a few things, but we have some good things to cover today. Most importantly, we have a lot of earnings, but we lost over $5 trillion, which over $5 trillion was erased from the precious metals market in a single day. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the first U.S. bank of the year just collapsed. We also just found out that the government just partially shut down. I'll talk more about that as well. And we got some earnings coming up this week, starting off with Disney Monday morning pre-market. You don't want to miss that. So just stick around and we'll get right into it. Cheers. By watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. Significant financial risk associated with options rated. And look, I've read this message for years over and over again, right? And the first time I actually look at it, I stumble over the words. That's funny, but I'm going to read it again. By watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There is significant financial risk associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. There we go. All right. So look, let's jump right into things. On Friday, this was what the options flow was looking like. Friday, Microsoft was the top call options flow winning on Microsoft, followed by Tesla, UNH, MU, and SILJ. On the short side, looked like they were shorting the hell out of gold, ABT, silver, IREN, and APP. APP got killed, man. They killed APP last week. Just making a note here. All right. For the week, the top call options flow went into gold, Meta, MU, CVNA, and TSM. On the short side, top put options flow went into ABT, Oracle, Apple, UNH, and Netflix. Let me make a note here. I want to point out something too. You see how on Friday they were shorting the hell out of gold, but for the week, gold was the best. They were buying the hell out of gold options. So one day, it's just, that doesn't really put everything in perspective. That's why I always tell people, even with the time frames, just try to watch the time frame based on, or use the time frame based on how long you're planning to stay in the trade, because there could be another story being told on another time frame. And if you're not planning on staying in there that long, you may get shaken out or into a trade too early, or just miss the move altogether. Making a note of that. All right, cool. Moving on. Okay, look, so since I said this was the first meeting of the year, so I didn't get a chance to go over the profits from 2025, how we finished the year. So these profits are from January 2nd to December 31st of 2025. And they're based off of per net profits and based on just purchasing a single contract per trade alert. So again, this is just based off of one contract per trade alert. And we generated a whopping $67,700. And again, this is just one contract. Now, I'm not saying that you have to buy one contract, but these totals are based off of just purchasing one options contract per trade alert. And there's something to this, though. A lot of people talk about, buying more contracts is more and stuff like that. Size is great if you have size, but if you're just starting off, my system works for everybody, because if you got the money, you can buy more than one contract and you could make a whole lot of money. Because imagine if you was buying 10 contracts, you know what I mean? So if you was buying 10 contracts at that rate, you see how much money you would have made, $670,000. So plus, if you were buying 10 contracts of each of my trades. So but 67.7K, rounded off to the nearest thousand, that's 68K. Most people don't make that in a year. Most people don't make an entry level nurse makes 40K a year. So I tell everybody, when you're starting off trading, you shouldn't be trying to chase what the big traders are doing and what you see these people doing, because you don't know how much money they're working with. And buying 10 or 20 contracts is fine if you got the leverage, if you got the money and the risk tolerance for that. So all of those things are good, but with my system, and just I want to preface this by saying this is coming from someone who's a full-time trader. I don't work anywhere else since like I said, since early 2021 when I started my Discord. This has been my full-time job, and I was going somewhere with it. That's where I lost my train of thought. Yeah, the whole point I'm trying to make is, so what you want to do is try to replace your job income. That's all you want to start off doing. You're not looking at these astronomical goals. You want to just replace your work income. Because if you can replace your work income and trade as a business, then you can quit your job, fire your job, whatever you want to do. If that's your goal, to buy your freedom, because you don't have to be in the market all day to make money. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, though. But the whole point is, as you see, there are going to be some days where it's not going to be for you to trade, and you're not going to get every single trade. So of course these totals they'll fluctuate, because you're not going to be in every trade, and every trade isn't going to be your trade. But what I will say is, just stay consistent with trading, and you want to start off within your range, your comfortability range. I remember the first time I bought 10 contracts, it was on SPY, and I couldn't deal with it. I could not deal with the pressure, because every little move that it made, I was seeing hundreds of dollars drop from. I was P&L watching, and that's one of the rules I tell my traders not to do. But when you in over your head, can't nobody tell you not to watch it. You're gonna watch it when you're in over your head. You can't be comfortable. You're not gonna make good decisions when you're in over your head. And trading is 90% psychological. You need to be in the right headspace. So buying 10 contracts when you're not ready to make that type of loss, you know what I mean, to take that type of loss, it's going to be nerve-wracking. You're not going to get through it. So, and that's most important in trading. You don't want to trade with anything you can't afford to lose, and you have to go into every trade knowing that it's a possibility that you can lose it, or that the trade won't be successful. That's one of the reasons why we only trade 20% of our total, no more than 20% of our total available cash to trade per any trade at any time. Because if you die in the market, or when you die, because we will die, you have 4 more lives left. But anyhow, like I said, in my system, the way it works, anybody can do it. If you buy 10 contracts or 20 contracts, you can do it. If you only buy 1 contract, you can still make money, because look at the profits that my team made for the year based on just 1 contract, and these are net profits. And again, we have a public ledger in my Discord on the free side, so you don't even have to pay for anything, and you can go through every single one of the trades in the public ledger and see everything, just if you want to audit and just look at the numbers. I'm going to go through each slide one by one on here. In past meetings, you'll be able to see where we go through the slides almost at every meeting at the end of the month, or sometimes a week, to update the slides. But yeah, just wanted to kind of cover this. This was January of 2025. We cleared 4,600. And again, net profits based off of just 1 contract per trade alert, as you can see here. This is February 2025. 8,400. March, 6,100. April, 8,000. May, 6,400. June, 5,900. July, 6,300. August, 4,900. September, 3,500. October, 4,100. November, 5,900. And December, 4,200. So as you can see, they are based on net profits. And just look, I look at it, I always tell you like this, man. There's nothing, nobody is perfect in the market, and I definitely don't try to be perfect. So if they're not showing you their losses as well, then don't trust them. And so, like I said, every week I try to go through this, or at least at the end of the month, if I don't, cover the whole week, or we don't have a meeting for a week or so, I try to go over the month or cover the month at the end of the month or something, so you can see where we are, what we did. And again, you can see the ROI on the $250 a month membership was 1700% on, and for the 175 membership, it was 2400% ROI. So the money is being made. So the system works. Everybody got their own way of trading, but let's just hop right into things. Let's keep going. It feels so good to have gotten that out of the way. Oh, January. Yeah, I did this today. So look, this was the first month of the year, and I did not take a lot. I didn't take a lot of trades in January. I'm trying something different, trying this new system. Not really a new system, but I want to do this challenge with the team. A challenge, but in order to do the challenge, I need discipline. I need the team to have discipline. So we're setting tight stops at certain levels and getting out of trades at those invalidation levels and things of that sort, as opposed to some of the other things that I've done in the past. And but my past trading strategy works. But I'm just saying, when you're gonna do like a $1,000 to $10,000 challenge or stuff like that, you got to have rules in place. So I'm getting my team ready for that. And so, yeah, light month this for the month of January of 2026. And I'm going to say this the best way I can possibly say it: only $2,300 for the month and net profit. But that, like I said, that's still almost 1,000% ROI on the 250 membership, and and for the 175 membership, 1,300% ROI on that membership. So, but light month, and actually it's cool to have a light month. Let me move on. Market talk. Like I was just telling y'all a little while ago, we witnessed one of the largest crashes in history, with over 5, and it was really more than a 5 trillion. But I'm just basing this on the precious metals that I'm covering, and that's silver and gold. Silver fell 31%, wiping out 2 trillion, and gold declined by 11%, wiping out 5 trillion. That's insane. But it's been running up so much, and the team and I, we've been watching gold run up for a while, and it's been running up. So that happens when they start pulling profits, and then a lot of the FOMO traders, they start selling too. But it happens. Now, like I was telling y'all earlier, the first U.S. bank of the year just collapsed. Now, remember in 2023 when we had the collapse happen, and it was just like but yeah, I know you guys remember what happened with that. But it was Metropolitan Capital Bank and Trust, and has been shut down and placed in receivership by the FDIC. So I wonder if there are more bank failures ahead. What do you guys think? I don't really know. But I know that on Friday, January 30th, 2026, Metropolitan Capital Bank and Trust was closed by the Illinois Department of Finance and Professional Regulations. The FDIC corporation was named receivers. Okay, so no advance notice is given to the public when a financial institution is closed. First Independence Bank, Detroit, Michigan, assumed. Hold up. Let me see what happened, because I'm trying to bring this up. Okay. So First Independence Bank of Detroit, Michigan assumed. Where is the rest of it? Hold on. Okay, hold on. There it is. Okay, here it is. All right. So, because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I thought it was Metropolitan Bank and Trust, but I'm reading something different. So, okay, so First Independence Bank, Detroit, Michigan, assumed substantially all the deposit accounts and substantially all the assets. So I was like, okay, they mixed in two banks together, but that's the bank that assumed, okay, all of the deposit accounts and all of the assets. All shares of the stock were owned by the holding company, which was not involved in the transaction. Okay, so it looked like all of the customers and everybody that had assets in that bank will now be under that First Independence Bank in Detroit, Michigan. I was just making sure like I was reading that correctly first. But yeah, that's some interesting stuff to hear, and it's never just one, but we'll find out. All right. And like I was telling y'all a little while ago, I'm gonna get into these charts, but I just, as I was doing this meeting live, I saw a notification pop up saying that the U.S. government partially shut down. A House vote could reopen it by Monday. Now, we were kind of anticipating this would happen over the weekend, but it just officially hit the wave a little while ago. So I wanted to make sure I covered that, and I added some banks to our list to discuss when I go through the chart setups, which I'm heading into in a moment. But wanted to make sure that I mentioned that first. So that's why I was over here making notes too. Let's see what's going on. All right. Before I go into chart setups, though, I want to go through economic data. All right. So Monday, we got our Fed speakers. We have at 12:30, we got Bostic speaking. Now, watch out for Bostic. Bostic is retiring soon, but he used to be a cool, laid-back Fed, but now he speaks up a lot. And when a Fed member speaks up a lot, that means that, and he used to kind of go along with whatever we already knew based on what the Fed chair had told us, or what what we already known since the previous meeting or something. But lately, he hasn't been doing that. He's been speaking against things, and I'm not going to say going against the Fed, but he's been saying things that cause the market to move, that creates volatility in the market, and he's not somebody we used to have to watch out for. So when he speaks, you got to watch out for him. So that's all the reason I'm putting him out there. And he's speaking twice this week. We got Michelle Bowman. She speaks Wednesday, but this is going to be way after the close. Lisa Cook is speaking Wednesday. And this will also, so Michelle Bowman actually is speaking at 9:40 a.m. I apologize for that. And Lisa Cook is actually speaking after the close, long after the close on Thursday. What is that? Wednesday. Michelle Bowman, she's okay. She don't really rock the boat too much. So, we still watch out for what the Fed is talking about. All right. On Thursday, we got Bostic coming out again at 10:50 a.m. So we'll see what that's about. All right. Economic data. Monday, we got ISM manufacturing PMI. Tuesday, we got JOLTS data. Wednesday, we got services PMI. Thursday, we got initial and continuing jobless claims. And then we got the biggest jobs report of the year dropping Friday. So we're going to get the average hourly earnings. We're going to get the non-farm payrolls. We get the unemployment rate. And the thing about this is, they always do it. We get a lot of I lost the word from, we get a lot of, I just lost my train of thought. But what's the word I'm looking for? It'll come back to me. But just know that whatever we're going to get it's a common word. It's just a common word. I just lost my train of thought. But anyway, just know that with this particular number, we're going to get, I'll come back to it because I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. But we got consumer sentiment on Friday. Now, a lot of people always forget about consumer sentiment. And I'm going to tell you why it's important, because it happens at 10 a.m. So let's just say the market already chose a direction and is moving. Smart money typically is waiting for consumer sentiment. And then after, so you can be in a trade and the market is going one way, then that consumer sentiment comes out and it takes the market the other way. Now, if the non-farm payrolls data, if that jobs report is cool and it's not too volatile for the market, then it won't really make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like if it when I say it won't make a difference is because if that number comes in good, the market's gonna just run. The market's gonna run off of that. But if and let's just say it's cool and it's nothing and it doesn't have really an impact on the market, that consumer sentiment is going to have an impact on the market. Now, let's just say the market pulls back slightly because it's not really happy with the jobs report, but it's not a bad report, but it just pulls back a little bit or cools off or doesn't really, then that consumer sentiment can come in and have an impact. So just either way, keep an eye out for it. I know I'll be. All right, earnings this upcoming week. Like I already covered Disney. I'm not going to go over this too much because I don't really like to go over the earnings because I don't want to sway people in one way or another. Trading earnings is like a parlay, regardless of how much you know about a company or whatever you can be right about whether they beat EPS or revenue or what the situation is, but that guidance is what's going to make or break that report. And sometimes the guide could be light, the guide could be good, but then it could be a massive miss on EPS, so it kind of causes the trade in the middle, so you don't know I like a move, as long as we get a move. But so it's a lot, and I'm just pointing this out because the best thing about earnings season for me is volatility. It creates a lot of trades. So volatility in the market is good. We just don't want a choppy situation. So we got a lot of good big stocks reporting this week. So like I said, we got Disney Monday morning. We got Palantir after the close Monday. We got Pepsi. We got Pfizer. I see AMD on there reporting after the close on Tuesday. It's a lot of big companies on here reporting this week. I ain't gonna go through all of them, but the most important thing that I am gonna say is you see how they moved Google to this week. They separated it from last week, and so they got Google Alphabet on Wednesday after the close, and they put Amazon on Thursday after the close. Amazon would typically report with Microsoft, or but I don't recall, and I'm sure it's happened before, but I'm just saying it's not often where it just sits off by itself like that. So I'll be keeping a close watch on that one as well. Another stock, Strategy, I see is reporting on Thursday after the close as well. That's MicroStrategy. Heavy in Bitcoin. But so it's a lot of earnings for this week. And for the team, I'll kind of go over the rest of them, or the ones that I'll be watching closely. I'll post those charts in the chat, in the Discord. So just look out for them, team, and let me know if you have any questions about that. Let's just go over some charts, though, like I said I was going to do, because that's what we definitely want to do. And since I already have it up, I'm going to start with NVIDIA. All right. So NVIDIA, man, this is the weekly chart. I'm starting with the weekly on NVIDIA because we got this bullish flag breakout, this wedge breakout. It's been consolidating right there at that key level for a while. And we got a nice 222 reversal. I like how it came back down, retested this breakout area and took off, finishing with the candle confirmation. And this is its highest close since when did the last time it had a close this high? It was, that was back in May. So they haven't had a close this high since May of last year. So that's a long time ago heading into this report. So I'm just saying, keep an eye out on this one. I'm gonna show you the daily chart, and this is the daily chart. It's a little chaotic over here. The weekly chart is important. So for this chart, so like I said, I just wanted to kind of show you all the daily and the weekly. The monthly just closed on Friday. We had a monthly close. Look at this move up that it's making. Pretty good move here. Not stock, it looked like that because of the stock split. And so here's the monthly chart, just showing you guys what we're looking at. Pretty nice close, nice hammer here on the month. I'm gonna go back to the weekly though, because that's the chart that I'm watching for what I'm doing. All right, so again, you can just keep this on watch. I'll say for a long trade, again, this is not just a day trade. For a long trade on this one, I would, put some time on this trade, but it looked like it wants to get back over 200. This may not happen in a single week or something like that. So, and again, we're looking at a weekly chart, so I'm just making that clear. So over 195, my first target. Over 190. Yeah, over 195. My first target on here would be that 195.77, and then we got 199.26. And then we got 202.76. And again, that's a weekly setup that I have on this. Now you can trade this intraday or trade it for, daily setup as well. And if you want to trade that, I would just look at it in a different way. Let me just some of the levels still the same though. Over 194.50. My first target on this is still going to be that 195.77. Then I got 196.11. Now, if we were to lose 189.47, my first target on this would be 187. 187, that would be the target on this, and it could possibly retest 185.50, but that would be the target. But again, I'm not really bearish on the stock. You see it pull back. We finished with an inverse hammer on, but it held this level. I like the fact that it's still holding a breakout area. Came down, retested it a few times, and still held. So looking pretty good on Nvidia. Right. Y'all gonna have to excuse some of my charts too, because I haven't. Some of these charts, man, are my everyday usage. So, no clean charts. It's the real deal. All right, so AppLovin has been through hell, man. So it's been a lot of short selling reports coming out on the company, and involving fraud, stuff like that. Again, it's just they came out and denounced it, and the stock kind of chilled for a little while, but then it just flushed on Friday. So, I'm going to show you all the weekly on this one too, really quickly. This was a wedge that I had, an uptrend that I had. It broke down from the uptrend, and it went up, tried to retest it, and flushed down. So we got action. It broke. The structure is broken on this. Now, let me show you the monthly, how the monthly closed. When you look at the monthly, it changed it up a little bit because, but I feel like it can still make some moves down. We're going to watch it closely around this area right here, though, because it still has room down here. But anyway, let me go back here because it was a bearish engulfing, a 222 reversal, bearish engulfing on the monthly. But yeah, back to the daily just really quickly. I always try to zoom out and give you some more action on this. Yeah, man, this is a big flush down. So that's how smart money is. Institutions are selling it when it comes down like this. But yeah, I'll say if it loses 463, my first target on this would be 457.73, and then we got 446.89, and so on. Now again, it could stabilize around that under that 459 or something like that. So just be careful. My thing is, I feel like it'll probably come down to like 450 or something before it stabilizes. But the price action will tell the story. We already lost the 50-day EMA. We already lost that. So I'm sorry. We've been lost the 50. I'm sorry. This right here is our 200-day. Lost the 200-day, and it flushed. And that was a lot of volume to confirm the move. So, yeah, it looked like it wants to go lower, but we'll watch it. Because, again, just be careful you don't have to necessarily get in right away. It may try to go up and retest this the 200-day EMA first and then flush down. So, either way, keep an eye on it. It's been selling off quite a bit, and had to mention it. I don't have no upside for it right now other than where I just told you what could possibly happen. WDC hit all-time highs for earnings, came back down, and 1 second. Let me just mark this up. I had another chart that was marked up on this one, but it's okay. You got the levels, you got them, and we flushed. But yeah, not that. Not gonna do that. Yeah. So again, WDC. The good thing is like SanDisk, WDC. These stocks have been doing pretty well lately, and if you notice how they hit all-time highs and just been running like a bat out of hell, right? And earnings were great, but a lot of selling took place. Nice 222 reversal here, came down and bounced off of this level and closed just at, I don't know, it looked like it closed over the 9 EMA, and it's been trending that 9 EMA up the whole time. I was a little afraid that it might come down and hit that right, try to get closer to the 50 down here, but so far so good. It's holding up in this area pretty well. So what I would do here is a few ways to look at this. If it comes back down and it loses 237.58, then my first target on this one will be 245. And then from 245, then I got 230. So again, just it's one of them things where, I'm sorry, if it loses 237.58, my first target on this would be 230.46, and then possibly 220.73. I apologize for that. But look at this, because again, in order to trade calls on this, let's see if it sustained this bounce here. Because, we got a little wick here, and it did find its way back over the 9 EMA. So if it holds this and get some stabilization there, then you can zoom out and find a setup on a lower time frame. But so far, like I said, it pulled back nicely on a great earnings, and let's just see what happens. Monitor the price action here, but just keep it on watch. I really don't like stocks at all-time highs. That's why I pull back, and but yeah, just keep it on watch. I just mentioned it, so I'm going to point this one out too. Shout out to SanDisk, man. Made a lot of money on this Friday. Had one trade that it was something short on Friday as the market was coming down. I already had the team in MU put, and I jumped into the SanDisk put. It was just something small that worked. It was I paid like $60 to get into the trade. Actually, it was $60 to get into it, and turned that into over $1,200 in a few minutes trading this. And it was like probably like 15 minutes. The trade was like maybe 20 minutes, maybe 25, 30 minutes, because I didn't. When I'm comfortably in the trade, I like them retest, and it took a little while to get there. But yeah, it got where it was going. My target was this gap fill area right here. It came down here, filled the gap. I got out now, and then immediately, how you have that FOMO, but you got to stick to your target. I'm like, damn, you actually had the guts and a target to hold that contract to get all the way to over $1,235, and you seeing it flush down. I'm looking at a daily chart right now. Of course, I was looking at a lower time frame with it, but I saw it continue to go down. But I took my profit immediately. It's always good to sell in strength, but I alerted my team, let them know that I was expecting a bounce here, them to buy it up here. But I'm like, if not, it had room down to this 9 EMA. They bought it up right there immediately and took it back up. So it bounced off the gap fill area. Stock was at all-time highs. I mean, this is a really great earnings that it had, like blockbuster earnings. It was amazing. So I would say keep it on watch. Again, I don't like trading stocks at all-time highs, but this is just something I'm going to let y'all know to keep on watch, because, again, like right now, you see what happened on Friday. It opened at 651.23. So it opened at 651. It ran all the way to 676 and closed at 533. So it closed like $140 lower than where it opened. So that's a big range, and that's a very expensive stock. So I'm just putting it on your radar right now because it dictates the movement of other stocks, which is going to segue into my next stock, which is MU. MU was a trade that I put my team in on Thursday because we were expecting something big to happen, and it worked out perfectly for us for a nice profit on this trade. Look at this though. This uptrend is right here, and it's been right in this uptrend. We got a nice reversal here. So what is that? That's a 223 reversal, bearish engulfing. Price came down here, closed the gap. Well, it bounced a little bit off here at the bottom, but it came down here to this gap and bounced off of the 9 EMA as well, which is something that's been riding up. So what's going to happen here now? I think if SanDisk and everything bounces on Monday or next week, then we'll get a bounce in MU most likely as well. MU's been running up like hell, hitting all-time highs. So if they sell it up, if they sell it down some, then that's fine. Again, this is the monthly close on Friday. We get a lot of volatility when that happens anyway, but this is what it looks like. Amazing chart, right? Amazing chart. This is how the weekly finished. So everything is green except for the day with this bearish engulfing. So we're going to keep it on watch. I think this is a good trade to watch for next week. Good stock to watch for next week. So if we lose 407, if we lose this 407 price level, my first target on if we lose 407, my first target on this would be 403.09, and then we got that. I got a line under here too, but I marked the 9 EMA right there. So I'm calling this 403. We got 403, then we got 399.16. Now most likely it's gonna get bought up right here. But again, we don't have a lot of price down here. We don't have a lot to base this off of because this is uncharted territory. Well, we've only been in this area for a little bit of time, so we don't know how strong this area is, so we're going to see what happens. But it looked like it may hold up here. If it doesn't hold right here, it's probably going to flush. You see, I don't have a level in between here, right? Now, I could put a level there. We'll see how price moves or whatever. But if it loses this level, if it loses this area with some, obviously give it some margin. Say like, if it loses this area and they don't hold it up there, that thing is going to flush down. It's going to make a nice move down. So like I say, keep MU on watch. This is probably one of the trades of the week for next week. I say keep it on watch. It's probably going to make a huge move. And but again, it could bounce because it pulled back nicely. Look at this. You cannot deny the 1 day move. Like I said, it opened at 446. The high is 455.5, and it closed at the low was 407, and it closed at 414. That's a pretty big range. You know what I mean? That's a really big range, almost a $50 range for that stock just in 1 day. So, like I said, I expect a big move, and this level is going to be on watch heavy here. So, I'm gonna mark it up so that we have it on. We have alerts for it. But yeah, keep MU on watch, man. I got a few more stocks I want to cover. I didn't plan on being here long. All right, Disney. Like I told y'all, Disney got earnings Monday morning before the open. This is our daily chart, but I'm going to start with the weekly. This is our weekly chart here on Disney. Looks good, right? Came down here, bounced off a support level, and finished with a hammer just ahead of the print. But you see, it's been having trouble with this area here for a little while. I marked off an area for this stock. Now, I want to make sure that it's still valid. I did it on... It's still valid. It's still valid. Because I did it like noon on Friday. Just wanted to make sure it was still valid. But yeah, so I would just keep... Because again, they're going to report Monday morning. So whatever, like what the chart looks like right now is not going to really matter after the print. But I'm not going to say it's not going to matter. It may either take out some levels or clear some levels, right? But I have a range marked here of where the price is likely to go after the print based on the print, right? But I'm just gonna say for now, just if you're looking at for a trade, just a trade based off of the current price action and what we see now. Let me just mark this up as well. Wow, I like this nice bullish flag that's like right here, heading into the print. A nice bull flag. That doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying it does mean something, but I'm saying it doesn't have any weight on how the print is gonna, what that's gonna cause the market to do. I gotta get this out of here. This is for the weekly. I'm gonna get it out of here. Just clean my chart up some. There it is. All right. So yeah, but if they didn't have earnings Monday, then I'd say over 113. My first target on this would be 113.43. Then we got 114.17 and 115.08. What's likely to happen is probably going to open over that 116, maybe. But like I said, I got some levels up there. My levels, I got the green level at the top is where it's likely to go after the print. If the print is bullish and everything is pretty good, it's likely to get up there. But again, it's based on the price action, and it may not happen in 1 week. For the downside, I got that 105, 104 area marked up. So yeah, we're going to keep it on watch, man. But again, I can't really give too much data on this now because, again, if the stock opens, let's say they beat and raise guidance, and Iger, I think he's gonna announce his replacement, or I don't know. They always we get a whole lot of noise. We don't really know, but let's say they have a nice blowout quarter and they guide up, and outlook is great. The stock is likely to open over 116, over 117. So then I got levels marked. So you got the levels already. That's just all I'm saying. And for the downside, we reclaimed the 200-day, we reclaimed the 50 and the 9, closed right here, set up really nicely. But we've been having trouble breaking out of this area here. I like some consolidation and range ahead of a print. You see all that volume came in there on Friday too, but that doesn't mean anything. They could be cushioning the blow. So just keep that in mind too. But yeah, this is how it looks, and we're gonna keep Disney on watch heading into this print. All right, I covered the big ones. I didn't cover Meta yet. I'm gonna cover QQQ. I like this QQQ chart, man. Nice flag here. Again, this is one of my ETFs or charts that I use a lot. So excuse all of the levels on this chart. This is a weekly chart. I think it's pretty clean for a weekly chart. And let's look at what's going on here. I ain't gonna really mark too much on this chart right now, but you can see this. So there's just a lot going on it. I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. I knew I was going to do that. That's cool. Damn, I didn't know I had that up all this time. But yeah. You can see this is what the chart looked like. This was interesting though. Price ran up here, hit this level, and violently dropped down off like this double top area. It finished as an inverse hammer right on back under this wedge. A lot going on. I think, and this is a weekly chart. I wanted to kind of let you guys see that though. Still, 222 reversal is just not in force right now, and there's some range on this. Again, I don't know how much impact this whole shutdown stuff is going to have on the market, and if they do have it reopened by Monday, that's going to be a key also. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I like this QQQ chart still. Like I said, there's some range on it. It's a few ways to play it, but I'm just going to talk about the range for right now. Over 636.60. My first target on this would be 630. Yeah, 637.39. Then we got 644.41. Again, we're near all time. We're all time highs again, right? We could have closed at an all time high, but we didn't. And let me go back down to the week. I mean the daily here. As you can see, the daily kind of cleans it up a little bit for you to see what's going on. Came down here, retested the 50-day, bounced off of that, holding here a little. So we're going to see what happens. This cleans it up a little bit for a shorter trade idea, which makes it a lot easier to trade too. I would say for this one, calls over 628.26. And my first target on this, it would be this gap fill, to fill this gap here. Let me mark it. Yeah, like I said, excuse my chart, man. I got a lot of lines. And so yeah, so the first target would be 629.43. That's the gap fill. And then we got this 631.51. Yeah, 631.51. That's the next level on there. But if we lose the 619.30 level, the first target on this would be 618.15, and then we got 615.93. It could likely bounce there. We're going to just see what happens, though. We're going to see what happens. I mean, I think we may get a lot of, based on everything that's happening over the weekend now, we may get, I don't know what may happen over the weekend. I thought the market was pretty red. Every sector finished red this week. So normally we get a reversal after something like that happens. So let's just wait and see how it plays out. The small caps. So IWM, I'm going to start with the weekly on this one also. Nice bearish engulfing on this one after running up and hitting all-time highs. Now, as you see, I got levels for days, man. I never erase my charts and my levels, but yeah, it's cool. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with this, but what I will say is I like how we did come down here and retest this area. It didn't fully flush yet. It came down. We got the reversal, the nice 222 reversal, and a bearish engulfing. But I'm going to watch this area right here to see if it holds. So, yeah, we could easily sit here and say for IWM, puts under 257.94. But I would actually give it a little margin and wait for it to get under 257.44 and see what price does there. And you got room to wait if that happens, because then you got a long way down. You can trade that all the way down here to 252.83 and most likely even lower. But I'm just saying that would be the first target. So watch it for this area. See if they defend it up here. Again, we don't have a lot of action up here. I can zoom out a little and see and get some more, do some surgery on the candles and see, we got a little action right up in there. But like I said, I would just wait and see how price behaves there. You can even put a target in between the one that I gave you, in between the 250 after the 257.44, losing that level. The first target could be 254.84 if you're going to trade off the daily, and then you got that 252.83. Now, like I said, if it bounces off this area right here, then we got action. You can trade it that way, or you just wait for it to clear over 263. So over 263, then the first target on this, on the daily, that I would have you play would be up in this area here. So that would be my first target on what is that? So like I said, if it was to clear 263, my first target would be 264 06. And I'm just watching this because, again, sometimes when a stock loses the 9 EMA, now it's always market structure over EMAs, but I'm just watching. You got to watch the price action too. It's been respecting the hell out of this 9 EMA, this blue line right here. And when it finally lost this area, it had trouble getting back up there. Look right here, when we closed under it here, because it was a support level here, the one I just put here. We got when it finally closed under the 9 EMA or whatever, it was fighting for this area, but when it lost it, it came back down here, went up, tried to get back up there, rejected off of it, and closed under it again. And then it gapped down the next day. Another attempt to clear the 9 EMA, reject hard off of it, finished down here. So I'm going to say, and it depends on where it lines up at, but I'm just saying be mindful where that 9 EMA is, because I'm going to say right now, let's just say over 263.07. If it, over 263, stabilization over that, then the first target would be 264.06. See, me personally, y'all, I'm just going to tell y'all straight up. I don't think it would be worth the move. IWM, it don't have to move a lot for you to make a lot of money, obviously. But if I'm going to hit a bank, I want it to be downtown Federal. I'm not going to hit the corner store bank where I'm going to risk my life and risk getting, shot in the head just to make $50. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go for the bag. So you don't want to just risk your life just to be in a trade. People just want to be in plays, just be outside, be in something, and if it's not there, if it's not worth it, then don't take the move. So I say that to say that me personally, I would wait for it to clear that 264 so get back up there, because then now okay, because we don't know, is there any liquidity up here? Is there exit liquidity? Are you going to be somebody's exit liquidity if you're up here? You know what I'm saying? So just be careful. Just watch it. And doing surgery on that weekly candle actually made it easier to see this. But anyhow, I've spent a lot of time on this. I gotta hit Goldman Sachs. I couldn't leave y'all without hitting Goldman Sachs. Just couldn't do that. All right. I can say a lot about this stock, but I'm just gonna do this for now. I could say a lot, but I'm going to do this instead. Can I duplicate this? Yeah, let me clone this. Alright. Because I'm just trying to see something here. Because what matters is right now what's going on, and that's what I'm focused on. I'm not focusing too much on all of the old stuff right now. I just duplicated that line. Let's see what's going on here. It's an easier way I could have done this, but let me cook. Now, what happened before, because I don't want to play this game. This is what was going on before. The stock gap down, as you see, and this is what was happening. So I just wanted to kind of find what was going on here, and put that there first before I talk, because there's a lot going on inside right now too, and we're gonna hit that too. So just looking at all of it makes sense to me. But look, so check this out, right? So watching Goldman Sachs, right, and how the price has been moving here in this range, and after the gap down, it's been consolidating here. Like I said, market structure over all of this, and so we got this key level here now that it's been. I'm gonna make this a little bigger. The support that it's been holding pretty well, and price has been kind of tightly moving right here, but it's just under the 9 EMA, and so I'm gonna move this, because it's really right in here, and we got this. So yeah, we're gonna keep this on watch, because this coiling normally gives us a big move when the stock coils for a while. Well, let me just take another look at something. I'll look at the weekly. Okay, yeah, that makes that area even stronger, and it's wow, it's there looks good. All right, cool. So yeah, what I would just do, like, keep an eye on this Goldman Sachs chart, man. What I'll say is over 947, my first target on this one would be that 9. What did I say? 940. Yeah, over 947, my first target would be that 959. And so there's a gap fill area here. First, let me just mark that up, because, you know, a lot of times stocks go up here and fill these gaps and they bounce right off of them. So I like to account for them. You know what I'm saying? I like to account for what could happen. That's why I always tell my traders, one traffic light at a time. Doesn't matter. Like, you don't want one traffic light at a time. If you're tunnel vision on the second traffic light, things don't work out. When I first got my license years and years and years ago, I'll never forget it. It was like a light was red, but I was looking at the next light and I ran that red light. Good thing I didn't get hit. But when you're tunnel vision on, you know, that's why I say one traffic light at a time. So we got this area right here. So that would be actually our first price target, I'm gonna say. So what is that? 954.65. So let's just say, all right, so calls over 947, but our first target would be 954.65, because that's the gap fill area. And then we got 959.16 to watch, and so on. Thing could move. It's a pretty big mover. Now if we lose 935.41, my first target on this, I'm sorry, what I said? Yeah. If we lose 923.17, if we lose 923.17, first target would be 920.39. And that, I would be careful there, because it's been fighting to hold that area. But if it loses that area and the volume intensifies, that thing coming all the way back down to 980 to 896. 896 is probably going to flush all the way down to 896. We got the 50-day EMA right here, and it'll likely lose that as well. And if it doesn't bounce there, likely lose that as well and come back down here and retest this 878.29. So we're going to keep it on watch. I mean, so far so good. I like when you see when the price action is telling a story, and so far so good. So far, so good. Could go back up to all-time highs. Could do that. It's notoriously known for doing that. But like I said, watch this. It's been having trouble with this area here, with this 9 EMA and everything. And this little trend here has been rejecting every time it's gone up here. So we're going to watch it and see what happens. But this is another one to keep on watch for this week, this Goldman Sachs chart. I got to cover Microsoft. I may not even cover Meta on this call, man, because I've done too much, man. I'm over too much on this call, over way too much. All right, let me go to the week first, man. Sheesh, man, damn. All right, so I'm gonna start with the monthly on this one first, because we had such a sell-off that. All right, so look at this chart, man. Microsoft came all the way down here. It's taking out levels, man. Let me just go a little higher, a little further out. Go to this 3-month chart right here. Go a little further out, just to show y'all like the magnitude of this move. Like, that's a huge move on a stock. Just look at that, a huge move, man. That's a huge move that is made in a short period of time. So yeah, back to the weekly though. So, but yeah, I was watching this area right here, and even if it continues to drop, from here, I'm just wondering if if anyone's gonna attempt to buy this stock up in this area. Now, again, this is at a crossroad, obviously, where either they buy it up or it continues down and continues to drop. But I just think at this point now, I feel like it's time to start buying up Microsoft. But we're going to wait and see what happens here. I'm going to go back down to the daily for a second. This was the gap down after earnings, and then we got an inside. I like a nice inside candle. And I am going to cover Meta, because Meta had an inside day also. But yeah, nice inside day, man. That doesn't mean it's the selling stop. That doesn't mean the selling is over. But I like a nice inside candle. So what I'll say for this one though is, for now, if it clears this 439.60, the first target on this one would, if it clears 439.60, the first target on this one would be, I'm losing levels. Yeah, so over there, because that's a huge gap fill, but my first target on this still would be that 449.93. I could put another target in there, but I'm not going to do that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my my entry a little better. I'm going to say if we clear 442.50, my first target is 449.93. That's where we're going to do. We're going to do it like that. Now, if we lose 426.45, and the first target on this would be 418.06. And we got levels on levels after that. But yeah, I will keep this on watch. We may get a bounce right here though. We may get a bounce right here. The whole market may give us a little relief bounce or a little bounce before continuation. But yeah, it looks like we may probably get a little bounce right here. So let's see what happens with Microsoft. Meta Platforms. Weekly chart is amazing. Yeah, here's Meta. We're almost through the gap fill. Now, before the earnings print, me and my team on live stream, we had this conversation while I was here. Like, it looked like it was back above the 200-day EMA, and it looked like it wanted to fill this gap, this old earnings gap, and that's exactly where it headed. And so we're almost through there. We got a nice, now even in the night of the night after, the same night after the print, it was something about this area right here that it was holding even in the overnight market. So, and the day, and so that morning of, it came down here, retested this again, and held. Gap down Friday, still held this area right here. So I like Meta right here. Again, it's an inside candle. Nice coiling consolidation happening all day. And so what I'll say is for Meta, if we clear 732.17, my first target on this one would be that, 732. My first target would be 748.53. That's my first target on this one for Meta. If we lose 713.59, then my first target on this one would be 701. So let's just see what happens, because this is a pretty good print on Meta. I mean, I'll just say the thing, Meta's still spending a lot of money. The CapEx was still pretty, they spending a lot of money. Meta's spending a lot of money, but they have results, and that's most important. The daily active people, and they're not spending money on the whole that Reality Lab stuff, and so it looks pretty good, and we trust Mark Zuckerberg. And but yeah, the print pretty good. I like where it's holding. It kind of get people off the trail of Meta really quickly. The cool off here. And we'll see what happens after. Like I showed y'all the weekly a little while ago. Nice close. It was the highest close on the weekly since, what was that? When was this? Since October of last year. So nice reversal here. I like what I'm seeing. Looks pretty good. And so Meta set up to make a bigger move. Let me show you this monthly chart since the monthly closed yesterday. Nice close on the monthly chart too. So we got that back. Highest, so we got a reversal, close above a key level on the monthly chart. I like what I'm seeing on Meta. And this red that you see here, I had this marked up for a long time. As you can see, it's been on here for a while. And so Meta's has been playing that range. We made a lot of money in this range. This is, if you looked at the beginning of the slides when I was going through them, the majority of the money that we make in this community comes from Meta. I ain't gonna get into that right now though. But yeah. Keep Meta on watch. It looks good. and let's just see what the rest of the market does. And I just think that, whatever happens, me and my team will be ready for it. I'll tell y'all another last thing before I get out of here, that there was, you see that I had a lot of restraint for the first month of 2026. And half of that has to do with the Australian Open. I'm a big tennis. That's my second love, my first love, actually. And not even for like sports betting or anything like that. Like I was up watching the semifinal against Alcaraz and Zverev, and I was hoping Zverev won the match, but that was a 5.5 hour match. I didn't bet a single dime on that match. I'm a tennis guy. Every year around this time, I'm on Australian time. So I'm saying that to say, tomorrow is Sunday, and whenever you guys watch this, but tomorrow is Sunday, and so tonight really is the last night of the Australian Open for me. Me being on Australian time, and I'll be well rested and ready for the market. I think we every year around this time it's the same thing. If you've been trading with me for a long time, I kind of slow it down a little bit in January, or spend a lot of time with the watching the Australian Open, but throws your sleeping off. But I'm ready to. Plus, I just don't like the way that number looks. Let's just say that, because it's not even about the Australian Open. Honestly, I wouldn't change that up for anything, because you got to have a work-life balance, and I love tennis. So, yeah, but I didn't like that number, I didn't really like that low number. I mean, it was still a nice profit, but I ain't really like that number. It ain't sit well with me, so we got to, I'm going to show you what's up with February. Let me know if y'all have any questions, man. Again, thank y'all for hopping on. Cheers.